spoiler alert, if no one's read the books,
God.
the prophets and the ancient humans actually used to be allied with each other millions and millions of years ago, which is even better, and it's funny as shit. The fact that the prophets actually don't like the humans.
You done being a dork?
No.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the Backlog Butchers. Joining me, as always, is my buddy Flip. Flip, how's it going, bud?
It is going good. How are you?
I'm hanging, man. It's been holiday rush season at work, so I've been extremely freaking tired. I actually came down to the wire in finishing our today's game of Halo 2. I stayed up on Saturday until about 4 in the morning finishing it out, so there was that.
Yeah, no, I didn't do any of that. I actually finished the game during the week. Surprisingly, I was like, maybe I'll do it all on Saturday, but then I realized that I'd be busy.
Yeah.
Working, and then Sunday I was busy all day yesterday, so yeah.
That was my original plan, and then, between work and SWAT coming to Halo Infinite and having to get my fill of that, I just kind of didn't. Also, I mean, we're about to get into it, but how I was feeling about Halo 2 at the time, I didn't want to turn it on until I absolutely had to.
Wow. Got it.
So, as alluded to, today we are going to be talking about the follow-up to our last episode of Halo Combat Evolved. We're talking about Halo 2 today. I guess the first question really, Flip, is what are your thoughts on Halo 2? What, 17 years after release?
Didn't it come out 2000? Oh no, it came out 2004, right?
It was, yes, I know I was living in Germany.
2004, November 9th, 2004.
Sorry, I should have had that on the docket. Normally I have that.
No, you're fine.
And I just watched that Xbox documentary too, so I really. Oh
yeah, I watched the first episode of it. Once you linked it, I should be starting. I'll probably start the second episode today. And if you guys haven't started it, it's actually really good. Like Ned just said, I honestly didn't know how much went on behind the scenes in Microsoft to get the Xbox launched.
It's a really cool look at, and if you're interested at all in console development and anything like that, and kind of the nitty-gritty details of how all that shit got started, especially with Xbox, keep in mind it is produced by Microsoft, so
it's very biased.
It is, but on the same token, having watched all of it, it's pretty honest too. The people on there are like, yeah, we fucked this up and we fucked this up. They specifically, there's a whole episode dedicated to the Red Ring and
I saw that.
And they even are very candid about the announcement and launch of the Xbox One, which I would say is probably one of the biggest disasters of launches ever.
Right. The one thing I did love about the first episode though was how there were two teams that were fighting to make the console for Microsoft, and the one team just said fuck you, and they had a demo of what they made.
It's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, it's like a slap in the face to the other team that wanted to make the console, that were just trying to copy previous consoles.
Yeah,
you'd have to watch more of it to really understand what I'm saying about it, but it's actually super cool to just get that insight, and
it's even funnier, and to loop it back to Halo, that they go into, I think in the second, it is the second episode, they talk about Halo's dev cycle and how it was kind of like every time they showed it prior to coming out, how it looked like jank as fuck and was running at 10 frames a second during demos, and that was their linchpin game. And so that game, much like Halo 2, came in super hot, down to the wire.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we didn't touch on this last time during our Halo talk, but everyone also forgets that Halo actually was supposed to come out on Apple.
Yep, on Mac.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep,
and it wasn't even supposed to be a first-person shooter either. It was supposed to be a RTS game.
Mm-hmm.
and then it turned into a third-person shooter. And then it finally became the first-person shooter we know today.
That we know today. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just a really cool look, so go check that out. And obviously, before we get into it, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps with the algorithm. It lets you know we put new stuff out. And leave a comment down below. We're gonna be talking about Halo 3 next week, so if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that about Halo 3, definitely drop them down below, and I'll pull them for the next episode. But right now, we're talking about Halo 2. Many people's favorite Halo game.
mine included.
Flip, this game's come out however many years ago. How do you feel about it today?
I still love it. I mean, of course, I had my gripes when I was playing through it, of course. One being you're supposed to feel heavy, but I noticed when you start the game and you're going through the whole like looking up and down, left and right and stuff, and you have to move around, you start jumping and you're hitting the ceiling. You're like, wait, why am I able to jump higher than the previous game right now? It felt weird, and it felt really floaty. I mean, that was mainly my only gripe, at least when we started, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, because I played just like you, I played Halo 2 so much that I remembered wherever, like, especially on Cairo Station, I remembered the exact timing to throw your grenade before they, bust through that door.
Yeah.
I knew.
Or when they come through the drop ships when you're up on the platforms, when they teach you how to use grenades. That's the one thing I do love about Halo is when they teach you how to use grenades, they give you like 30 of them, and you just start lobbing these fuckers down at them.
Like, I think the funniest part for me was after you kill the first group that they're latched. And then one of the Marines says, hey, look, they're leaving the Athens. And then on beat, I actually said that as soon as he said it. I was like, damn, I really had that timing perfect back then, didn't I?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, damn, it's like I'd never stop playing it.
It's funny with how that muscle memory just comes back. I mean, that's me with like Halo 1, right? I remember it literally beat for beat the timing of every grenade throw, every time a guy busts through the door, voice lines beginning. Halo 2, I got like the first half of that really felt like familiar. And then
then you just started forgetting stuff.
I'm gonna load the beginning of this podcast early. I think Halo 2 now is highly overrated.
Really?
I think people have very, very rose-colored glasses with this game, myself included, coming into it.
I guess for me it's just different because, like I said, it was technically my first foray into Halo, minus playing Halo 1 with Mistake, but it wasn't the one. Halo 1 wasn't the one that I consistently played pretty much every single day. Even this is actually before I even got Xbox Live. I just kept playing it over and over again, and tried to find skulls. And I remember getting, what is it? Was it an action replay? I think it was an action replay, and I modded my Halo 2 just so I can play Metropolis, where you just have an endless amount of elites just coming at you, and you're just in a tank just fucking blowing up
That's cool.
everything and shit. That's what I like, things I remember from back then too.
It's crazy. Like, Halo, I don't know. I felt like, first off, I want to hit up on the music of Halo. Much like Halo 1, which we remiss to talk about, I think that the soundtrack is equally as good.
Yes.
It's actually very good. The bringing in of Steve Vai for all the weird guitar solos in the middle of pieces.
So
playing on the anniversary,
a lot of the music was taken out.
Yeah.
And redone for the anniversary.
Yeah, like Breaking Benjamin.
Yep, that's the one thing I wanted to mention, because that's actually one of my favorite parts in the entire game.
Really?
When you walk in and you just see elites and brutes just fucking each other up, and Cortana's like, let's just let them deal with it.
It is a cool part. Granted, it's funny if you swap back to the old version, the music is still there for the Breaking Benjamin song, but the vocals are taken out.
Was
The
it?
vocals are taken out.
Oh,
Promise. There's the beat of the.
So, I don't. There's something that everyone that I've anytime I talk about Halo 2 with anyone, they always I guess it's because no one, as soon as they booted up Halo, they always press start. But if you stay in the start like menu where it just says press start, if you wait, it does a whole like montage of like the multiplayer and stuff to Breaking Benjamin.
No,
in the original,
I
like,
had no idea.
Like because everyone would always just press start. There'd be days where I would start up my Xbox and go get something to eat real quick to come back, and I would come back to Breaking Benjamin just playing.
That may be the only standout part that I couldn't stand, even as a kid, even as a 14-year-old young man child, was Breaking Benjamin randomly in this Halo game. Halo's known for its orchestrals and its monk chants and its swelling percussions as you're going into the fight. Like you really think of like when you do the silent cartographer level in Halo in Halo 1, or even as you're going across the bridge and you're scorpion in outskirts, right? Like it kind of swells and it's this awesome percussionist orchestration, and then you get to this end part of the game where it's supposed to be this culmination of everything that's happened so far, and then fucking Breaking Benjamin comes on. Even as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well, the funny thing is, if it wasn't for Halo 2, I probably would. Well, let me take that back. I love rock music anyway, but
Breaking Benjamin's a stretch on that genre.
But like I never would have really listened to Breaking Benjamin until Halo 2.
Your life probably would have been better for it.
Well, probably. But I mean, I watched it wasn't MTV, it was Fuse. I would watch Fuse all the time instead of MTV because it played more like rock and metal and like pop.
Or back in the day played music videos.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in general.
By that point, MTV was transitioning out and doing only reality shit.
I mean, given they only have like a few good reality shows, Family Friend was on Road Rules back in the day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have those fond memories of watching the fuck was it? The dude who had the fucking clock around his neck.
Oh god, who's that? Flava Flav? No.
Yeah. Flava Flav. When he was trying to find love.
Oh my god.
Flavor of Love. That's what it was fucking
called.
called.
Flavor of Love. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I was right. It is Flava Flav. I had to look it up because I don't want to be corrected anywhere. So I'm glad I had that correct. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it points to. I think that the inclusionist divide kind of goes a little far and kind of gets up its own ass a little bit and kind of loses that Halo feel. I do think that like the first half of that soundtrack's really good. Especially like Delta Halo as a whole, as you're traveling through all the ruins and it has the do 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 do. It's still fantastic.
I mean, the one thing I love about that part in the game anyway is the music. Delta Halo. Well, when you first land on Delta Halo, I wasn't a big fan of that. I mean, I love I love the intro of you're pretty much. I said this during Halo 1 for what is it? The Silent Cartographer. It's almost like you're storming Normandy. So it's another one of those levels, but the fact that they're dropping in and Chief fucking like knocks down the door and just has a rocket launcher in his hand, you're just like, that's fucking badass.
It's cool. It's just cool.
But, and then the music's great, but like we also discussed the last time, the tank really wasn't needed on that level. No,
it really wasn't. Honestly, every time I do that run through, I don't even take the tank. I take the Warthog. Yeah. And just blow by everybody.
I've done that so many different ways, just like you've done what is it? The hell?
Halo.
Like
the level Halo.
No, not Halo. Oh yeah, Halo. Never mind. When you try to save every fucking Marine a certain way, dude, I try to beat that every single way I could with the tank, of course, with the Warthog. I think I also had a Ghost.
Oh yeah.
And then completely on foot. I was like, I don't feel like driving. Let me just walk this shit out.
It's kind of stupid how strong the Ghost is in Halo 2. Like, actually.
Dude, on Metropolis.
Honestly, yeah, on Metropolis is one, and then my real thought is that last Arbiter level when you're driving up to the Scarab. You can just blow by that entire level on the. I think I had my timer on. I did it in like 6 minutes because I just drove by everybody in the Ghost.
For me, I actually like right when you get the Banshee also, I bypass everything and I just skip and go under and then start the final cutscene.
Yeah. No, totally.
So I was like, I don't feel like doing it. Just like Outskirts. I skipped that whole entire first part where you're supposed to fight the hunters.
Yeah.
Then you go through that door and you get fucking sniped right off the bat. Soon as the cutscene ends for Outskirts, I hop on the light, hop up top, grenade jump, and then just keep going. I get the the sword, and then I just go right on through.
See, I tried to play it legit this time. Like I used to do all that back when, just because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
In this playthrough, I didn't actually do any of that. A, because we'll get into more of it, but I was just kind of like, I wanted to remember, but B, I also just was like, oh my god, like I feel like I have to see it, but Halo 2 felt like a slog to me, honestly, to get through. I felt like the levels were far too long. They were like really enclosed together, even Delta Halo to a point, because it feeds you into a bunch of tunnels over and over and over again. You never really have that
same way with Delta Halo.
You don't have that level of like you don't have Halo like in Halo Combat Evolved, where you're just like, okay, you have 3 things, go, right?
Right.
And Halo is always kind of linear, just by its design. Minus Infinite, obviously, but just by its design, because it's trying to get you from point A to point B for the narrative beats, which is fine. But in Halo 1, it still felt like that you could go and do any of these things, right? You can go into here, you can go, like in Halo, you can go to these guys first, this guy next, this guy last, get off, then you do all the other shit, but then you go to like the Silent Cartographer and you can do the same thing. You can kind of, go right to the security door. You can do the cutscene where the elite locks the door and goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then even in Assault on the Control Room, there's like 45 different ways you can like tackle a single thing. It felt like in Halo 2, especially the Arbiter levels were very on rails.
They were very long too.
Yes.
I mean, you also have to think your first mission as the Arbiter is actually 2 different chapters.
Yes, and I don't like how that happens, because it does make it feel like twice as long.
Yeah. And I mean, I do enjoy the Arbiter levels to a point, but it was mainly, like you said, it was a slug playing those, at least for me.
Yeah.
All the Chief stuff, I was perfectly fine, and I was rocking it like I usually do.
Yeah. So. But even then, it that comes to a halt. At least for me, it came to a halt as soon as you get to High Charity. You do 4 levels with the same aesthetic, back to back. It skips to the Arbiter, back to back.
Yeah,
I'm just like, holy shit.
I do have to say though, like the ones where you're on the gondola, I kept switching back and forth between the Anniversary and OG graphics, and compared to the Halo 1 like graphics change, I enjoyed the Halo 2 Anniversary graphics a lot more.
Holy shit.
They were on point. It didn't look like crazy to the point where you just thought you were taking in too much information.
Yeah.
But they fixed it where it still looked alien enough. You know?
I actually, despite what I've been trying to do, honestly, I played all of Halo 2 minus like the first 2 levels in the Anniversary. I couldn't take it anymore. I appreciate for how much improvement Halo 2 made from Halo 1.
Yeah.
But the long corridors that were just gray was literally putting me to sleep at a point.
Especially in the first level.
Yeah. I was just like, holy shit. Like, I get why this is so cool. Because it was, and it still is, if you really like want to compare and contrast. But like the anniversary actually really brings that up to like a whole new level. And with the blur cinematics in there too, that like are fucking impeccable.
The cinematics, I remember the first time playing Anniversary and seeing the new cinematics for this game, I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Gorgeous.
They did such an amazing job just redoing it. They didn't even do anything like, scene by scene, really. Yeah. They did for the most part, but there are things that they did change, of course, which was perfectly fine, and it made sense.
It's mostly just different camera shots.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was when Chief's bringing the bomb back. I think for that one, they actually had the camera move farther back. I think
it really gave that, like, I swap back and forth between the two, which is really cool in the Anniversary that you can actually do that in cutscenes too.
Right.
Super fucking dope. And it pulls it back like 5 seconds. For the most part anyway. Obviously there's some hiccups here and there, but it generally pulls it back 5 seconds so you can get a good comparison between the two. But yeah, the way that Blur handled the cinematics, it was really good back, like, it was cool right back in the day when Halo 2 was like, when it launched, and that was the launch trailer too, where he hits the button and he goes, I'm bringing it back, or whatever the fuck it is, and then he jumps out with the fucking bomb and then rides it down. Fucking awesome.
Like, that's fucking
And then I didn't think that could get any better, and then these cinematics just fucking gave it the sense of scale that was like so hard to do back in the day just because of raw processing.
Yeah. And it blew me away to the point where I'm like, this actually looks pretty real. At least the shots of Chief. When they would go to like Johnson and Miranda, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Miranda
it's just
really
rough. And she's supposed to look like her mother a little bit. But
I thought it was her mom. Oof.
Oh God. Oof. I'd rather it be her mom.
Woof. But yeah, Johnson looked good too. I
mean, Johnson just looks great in general. So don't get me wrong.
So Johnson is a weird inclusion for me, and it always has been. As somebody who's read the books and shit, I don't like, and this goes for everything, not just Halo, I don't like it when games require you to delve into the expanded universe to know why he's back.
Right.
Because if you went from Halo 1 to Halo 2, in Halo 1 you watch him get attacked by Flood along with Jenkins and Keys and everybody else who turned into a Flood, and then all of a sudden you start Halo 2 and there's Sergeant Johnson again, and you're like, and they even acknowledge it. How are you going to tell me how you got back? Sorry, Guns. It's classified. It's like, I know what happened. I read First Contact or First Strike or whatever it was. Like, I know what happens. It's First Strike. I have it pulled up.
It might have been First Strike.
It for sure is. I have it pulled out so I can finish once I finish Reach.
Are you rereading it?
Yeah, I am rereading it.
Okay.
Because they are good.
Yeah. So, because we're talking about the books real quick, I did finish reading Reach a day after we recorded the first one, or 2 days after, really, because I started it that night, and I finished the entire book. But I actually I audiobooked it this time.
That's honestly, I should be doing that, because
the only reason I did is because I'm in my car for work. Yeah. So it just made it easier.
For sure. And the other part about Johnson is, why is he so intent on trying to fuck Cortana?
I mean, I feel like he's trying to fuck everybody.
There's a lot. He doesn't ever hit on Miranda, and they're together more than him and Cortana.
I mean, you never know.
I know what the ladies like. Like, dude, come on. She's an AI. What are you gonna do?
Johnson just has that smooth voice, though. I love it.
So good. Honestly, I think Johnson is a good character. I don't like the needing of knowing what happened to be in a book. Like,
Yeah.
say something, acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge how you got back, because even if you didn't, okay, so even if you didn't realize that was Johnson in that cutscene in 343 Guilty Spark when the flood came out. At the end of Halo, you literally scan for UNSC transponders, and Cortana really says nothing, just dust and echoes.
Right. And
we're all that's left.
Right. Like, where the fuck was Johnson?
Obviously not true. So either Cortana sucks or you retcon something.
I do love one of the videos that was out back in the day of Johnson and Elite just hugging each other.
Oh, that was when you beat it on Legendary.
Yeah. And
so good.
They just hug each other and they're like, we're about to die.
Hold me.
God. I mean, so to delve a little, if you haven't read the books and you don't, want to read the books, it's because he has biological augmentations that he was able to,
it's almost as bad as the Metal Gear response of nanomachines.
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, it's not even a good reason.
Well, so if you go to Halopedia, there's a spot that says Johnson was able to escape the flood thanks to its skill and biological augmentations.
Whatever.
So, yeah.
Retcon because reasons.
Right. I mean, he wasn't even a big part of Halo 1, really.
No.
You just heard his voice a lot.
Yeah, because
I was glad. Yeah.
He was like every other Marine.
Yeah.
He's the one you meet when you meet the first group of Marines on Halo, and then you see him in Assault on the Control Room, and then he's in 343 Guilty Spark.
Right. Want to know another actress that's in like everything throughout Halo 2? Fucking Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez. I was gonna say I recognize that voice even back then. I was like, I know her.
Yeah, you're like, oh, she's from Fast and Furious and Resident Evil.
Yeah, exactly. It was Resident Evil that I pulled from, and then I was like, and then later I was sitting here playing it again. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's her name from that one movie with the machine gun leg. Not Guillermo. Yeah. Is it Guillermo del Toro? I don't remember now. But two of the Grindhouse pictures that Tarantino worked on too.
Yeah. Was it Kill or something House?
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, I know it's funny to listen to those cameos still pop in.
Mm-hmm. There's so many.
Oh, I know, and they get even worse in Halo 3. That's the even funnier part.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, it's a lot easier to recognize these cameos compared to. Did you all ever watch like The Mandalorian?
The first season.
Okay, so at the end of the first season, there was the cameo from Jason Sudeikis.
Oh yeah.
Punching Baby Yoda.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
So
I don't know. Cameos are fine. Honestly, I don't. It makes you go, wait, I know that voice, but at the end of the day,
well, I like the ones where you actually can figure out who it is, though.
Yeah, and they're not front and center all the time too. I appreciate that, because then it's just like kind of just milking it. Whereas it's just you could tell it was somebody who was like, yeah, I'll do your voice in Halo. It's a Marine. It's cool. Just something on the side that's like pretty fucking cool.
And I mean, if you think about it, it was only Halo 2.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people really were like, okay.
Yeah.
So and then Halo 3, like you said, there's a lot more. So
and a lot more like in your face ones. Like the one that comes to mind is the red versus blue cameo.
Oh, I love that one though.
It's still good, but it is more in your face, right?
Well, it's not really, because you actually have. Well, depending on which one it is, there's one that you actually have to go and find.
Yeah, it's
well, they're at the door.
Yeah, they're at the door.
Yeah,
they're yelling at each other. But Keith David as the Arbiter is still fucking amazing. How do you feel about the Arbiter as like a whole? Like, I know that was like the big twist in Halo 2 back in the day.
As a character, I do enjoy seeing his character development through that entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when Chief and him get pulled in by the grave mine and are pretty much forced to work together.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the fact that they become, friendly with each other,
Yeah.
somewhat. And then him and Johnson have a better relationship, though.
Well, yeah, because they end up working together at the very end. I really like. I like the inclusion of the Arbiter for a few reasons. It's it gives the foil for the Covenant, where you start seeing more of the inner workings. It's a good and bad thing because it kind of takes the veil off of the Covenant themselves, but also, like, if you're curious, you get to learn more about how they operate, their hierarchy, how everything works. You learn a lot of the deep nuts and bolts of, like, how the Arbiter is formed, and then you have, like, the whole council of all the different races of the Covenant screaming and calling for blood for failure. Right. Like, it's a like, really cool foil for explaining more of the Covenant itself. Keith David's
why
the shit.
They do. Yeah, and I mean, I do love how it explains why they do what they do, because they're just, like, overly,
and what their mindset
religious.
Is on Halos, right? Like, you wonder after the turn in Halo 1 that you find out that it's a weapon, you're like, well, why do they keep wanting to light these fucking things? Do they even know? And seemingly, yes, at least to a degree, the Prophets seem to.
Yeah,
but
they do.
Nobody else does.
Yeah, but they see it as a way to make it into, like, the next, I guess, world, because it's a great journey.
Because they survived
them.
The last one.
Sort of.
Yeah, still, but even still, it still shows that they kind of know what's the haps with this, but they're just willing to lead everybody down this path to kill themselves, essentially.
Spoiler alert, if no one's read the books,
God.
The Prophets and the ancient humans actually used to be allied with each other millions and millions of years ago, which is even better, and it's funny as shit. The fact that the Prophets actually don't like the humans.
You done being a dork?
No. I'll probably continue later on. But yeah.
But I hate his levels so much.
I hate his levels too. Minus the last one where you're fighting Tartarus.
That's fine. It's weird to have a random boss fight at the end, but I'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best part. Really, the Halo 2 story, like, actual narrative.
You didn't like it?
Oh my god.
So
not even the cliffhanger ending that caught me back in the day, but now, like, it's all done, right? Like, that's whatever to me now. I can't tell you exactly what happened up until, like, the end.
Really?
Covenant come to Earth.
Yeah.
One Covenant ship comes to Earth over New Mombasa.
Mm-hmm.
You kill a Scarab.
Yep.
In a very small section of where this Covenant's invaded at.
Yep.
You then get on the ship, basically drift behind their ship going to slip space. You go to another Halo. Mm-hmm. You fight on that for a while. You kill a Prophet.
Yep.
Then you get eaten. Then you get grabbed by a big flower.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Arbiter, honestly, like, the Arbiter story is, like, way cooler. Like, I could tell, like, it has a lot going on to that.
Right, which brings us back to his first two levels, where you're fighting a so-called heretic who actually has
got everybody's number.
Well, no, he really should have been an ally to the Arbiter, because everything that the heretic was doing is everything that the Arbiter ends up doing.
Yeah, totally. Like,
but he just kills them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and if you go, once again, there's terminals in Halo 2 Anniversary, right, which kind of lead to the backstory of that. And even at the last one, he says, "Look, the only ally that I know that I could have is the Arbiter, essentially. But if they turn him into the Arbiter, he'll be so blinded by the Prophets that he's not going to listen to what I say. So if he comes to that, I'm going to have to kill him, right? Like, that's it. And then I'm on this on my own, which is essentially what happens, right? but it's interesting because like the arbiter like arc is actually like super fucking like well done. The Chiefs,
Yeah,
like really, really, there's not much there.
So I think what they were trying to do is, one, they were trying to move the story along, but two, they also wanted to flesh out the Covenant so much more during Halo 2, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, given as to why, like you brought up, they were fleshing it out because it gives us insight as to why they're doing what they're doing. And of course, they had the plans of, leading into Halo 3. So, I mean, and we'll get to that when it comes to it, but I think that's what they were looking at. They're like, oh, this is I feel like they thought they already knew Halo 2 was gonna be like a bestseller and everything, to the point where that's why they had so much like lead up for Halo 3 anyway, but even though it took fucking forever to come out.
But like, I don't like honestly, like, the Master Chief is such a side note in this game. Like, you play as him for half the game, and like I said, nothing happens. Then
it's literally him just going place to place.
Yeah, he just goes place to place and kills Covenant. Like, that's it. Like, that's essentially all he does. There's no big turn. There's no heel turn. There's no nothing. You don't like.
I think the biggest turn for him.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, the biggest turn for like the Master Chief stuff was when Cortana, stayed.
At the very end, the last cutscene.
Yeah. Like, oh
I
shit,
get it,
Cortana's gone.
But fuck, like, Delta Halo, whilst the cool beginning part, drags the fuck on. Why did we go underwater? Like, what was all that shit? Like, this is really where it comes down to Halo 2 for me, is like, it feels like everything went on for like another like 20 minutes, right? It's like you get a good morsel of a thing, a good 15-20 minutes of a thing, and then it drags on for another 20, and you're like, what the fuck?
They definitely could have shortened everything, but I do, like I said, I do think that everything was fine for the most part. Yes, it dragged on a lot, especially during the Chief parts. But
because nothing happens. At least the Arbiters, you're having like heel turns, and you got your other other elite buddy, the silver guy with the one mangle gone. Like, he provides some cool foil to everything. Oh, he's so fucking cool, dude.
I was like, why does he looks so much more badass in the updated graphics though too. Yeah. I was just like, damn, that's hot.
And it's amazing to watch that relationship develop, right? Because like, they start off not liking each other. He goes, oh, we're together, but these guys are mine.
Yeah, these are my soldiers, not yours.
Yeah. And
so
it's fucking like super fucking good.
Right.
Like,
and then he goes into the last battle with him.
Yeah. It's all, and then that's when I know a way. And then you ride in the Wraith, and then fucking you go up to the Scarab, and you're like, oh shit. That was cool, because like that thing that you killed in the beginning part of the game is now like essential in the last part. Right. Also, how can Johnson drive one of those?
Wasn't he with like elites? Wasn't he?
I didn't see elites.
Inside, no, like inside the.
I never. Honestly, it's been so long since I jumped out and looked.
Oh, I could have swore he was with elites. I don't remember if I've ever gone into it though.
I don't know. I'm curious. I might actually boot it back up and look.
Yeah, well, I might also. But I mean, given, I'm sure that they fought Scarabs before anyway, so they probably have learned, just like they know how to drive fucking ghosts and banshees.
True. You're not wrong. They can drive all those. But what threw me off, I'll have to go back and look, because if there's more elites, then this blows the whole theory out of the water. But like, you go in there when you're destroying, you don't even destroy the Scarab, you just kill the guys inside of it.
Yeah.
Which
there's
like three of them
controlling it.
Yeah, they're all doing that number, and then one pulls the sword out, and you're like, whoa, yo, not here, not in the ass.
You're like, let me throw this grenade, let me fucking miss.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But yeah, like, it's the dichotomy is so fascinating with this, because like I was saying, the Chief story is shit, but the levels are kind of cool. Like, they every level drags on for another 20 minutes, so
right,
just keep that in mind. But the Arbiter levels are boring as fuck, but like, there's cool shit that happens there.
Yeah. I do wish I could have used the Warthog more, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you when you're racing to the library. So what I do like about this one, right, is that all that gained knowledge from Halo 1 is transferred to Halo 2, right? So, like, when you get to Delta Halo, they're like, all right, so we got to go find the index. We got to find the control room so we can fucking stop this shit, right? Like, okay,
like,
we don't have to go through this again. We all know, right?
Yeah.
The Covenant's like, look, we have to find the marker. Look, those fucking humans are there too. Like, fuck them, they suck. And it's just like there's no like thinking about that. It's still the same kind of setup, but it's not exactly, you're not discovering it for the first time or anything like that. Like, that part's kind of cool because it's all that gained knowledge essentially. But that arbiter level, even when you're chasing down to go to the library, fucking sucks. Like,
yeah,
you just randomly go outside and everybody's fighting each other with the Flood and the brutes, which we'll get to the brutes. And it's just like, you don't even have to like engage. You could just go by everybody. Like, the arbiter is kind of broken in that sense because the camo just allows you to sneak by all the hard fights if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, right.
Which is what I did at the end. I just was hitting my camo button over and over again.
It doesn't last long, but it lasts long enough.
Yeah, long enough for you to fucking not do the atrocious brute fights.
The brutes. So I was happy that we got a new enemy in Halo 2, right? But they were very annoying. We got
2, and we haven't discussed the other ones.
Yeah.
The fucking drones are the worst thing known to man.
The buggers?
Yeah, they're terrible.
The buggers?
They're terrible.
The ones that they took from Ender's Game?
Dude, they're terrible.
I fucking hate
There's so many of them. Pinpoint accurate weapons don't actually do shit because their hitbox is so fucking small, so it's easier just to spray them down. But the problem is, if you fight them as the arbiter, you don't have any good weapons for that. You have a carbine, which carbine top titty.
That's the only good Covenant weapon, minus maybe the fuel rod cannon, but that is very.
But even that comes few and far between. I only ever saw those on High Charity as the Master Chief.
The plasma rifle, garbage in this game.
The brute plasma rifle is even worse.
I think the one thing I do like about this plasma rifle though is I feel like the spray pattern for it isn't as bad. I feel like they go a little straighter than Halo ones, but it's still garbage.
Yeah, it's still shit.
So, plasma pistol, I mean, of course, that's still decent if you use it the noob combo way, you know? But I'd rather not pick it up. The Needler, I feel like the Needler tracks a little better in Halo 2.
Needler got a huge buff in Halo 2. Holy shit.
I remember, of course, in multiplayer, that shit was deadly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I enjoyed the beam rifle, but I think that really narrows it down to the carbine, the beam rifle, and the Needler mainly. I never picked up the plasma pistol or plasma rifle unless I needed to.
No.
The brute shot is trash.
Facts.
I think that was and then the brute plasma rifle, like you said, is even worse.
Because the spread is bad and it overheats so fucking quick. The fire rate's a little higher.
It's supposed to be more powerful, but no, it's garbage.
And the brutes themselves are I know this changes down the road, but they're just not very fun to fight here.
No.
Like they're just sponges.
Yeah. I think the brutes in Infinite are definitely sponges.
No, those are way easier than this.
Depends on which one it is. The ones that run at you, if you can't get the headshot on them, they are sponges.
The problem is when they start running, they also get like double the HP. It feels like
that's true.
You can two tap a brute to the head when he's not running, no problem with the carbine, right? And he's down. But then his buddy's like, "Oh my god, my friend!"
Fuck you.
And then he just like doesn't fucking die. And the problem with the high charity level, my issue with the high charity level specifically when the chief warps in, is that there's so many and you start with nothing. You start with a needler.
You start with absolutely dog shit.
You start with a needler and there's nothing good after that. Like legit. Like
I think the nice part is at least when there's like human weapons involved, at least the brutes pick them up.
Yes, I do appreciate that the brutes are. I like the brutes as a concept, right? I think that they're cool because, like, and especially when you're playing as the Arbiter and you go through that armory and it has both human and Covenant weapons in it, because they'll use whatever they can pick up.
Yeah. Whereas elites don't.
Whereas elites think that the human weapons are shit, which
Yeah.
I get.
They're wrong.
they are incorrect, but that's their prerogative to be shit.
Yeah.
But the brutes are willing to just pick up anything to kill you with. The problem is that they're so very one note that, like, even the base ones, once they get all angry and shit, are like fucking a pain in the ass to kill.
Yeah.
To the point where it's beyond frustrating to even like deal with it. Like, I just got to the point where I tried to run by every fight. Now, what Halo 2 did that Halo 1 didn't is that the guys will follow you.
Yep.
Which I found out the hard way.
Oh.
Numerous times.
Did they follow you into a room that had even more?
The mausoleum where Breaking Benjamin kicks off.
Yeah.
So I go in, so I ran by all those guys because I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm almost to the end. Yeah. I'm just gonna finish this out.
Right.
Plus, it's 3:30 in the morning and I have to go to work.
Oh.
So I'm like, I just need to see this through. So I run through, and they go, oh, well, let's just let them fight each other real quick. No shit. The door opens behind me. 3 elites, 2 hunters, and 2 grunts come following me. So they come in as the brutes and the elites clash, and then they I have 4 hunters, and then as soon as they, like, it was weird because, like, as soon as they started coming in and shooting at me, both the elites and the brutes turned and started shooting at me too. And I'm like,
oh. And there's really no place to hide in that room either. There's maybe like 2 spots where they won't, like, go, but they'll throw grenades in it. But they're easy to dodge in that spot.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
It was fucking terrible. I wanted to just fucking turn it off.
So hunters in this game, compared to the last one, they felt a little bit more formidable in some spots.
Unless you have a beam rifle or a sniper rifle.
Yeah. But they were still fairly easy to cheese.
Yeah.
But they did feel a little tougher compared to Halo 1.
I will say
that was nice.
Yes. The underwater hunters tripped me up, tripped me up for a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though I had the shotgun, but
getting close,
they wouldn't come out of the room. They just stayed in the room, and I'm like, well, I can't push in there because they're just shooting their beams out. And I'm like,
yeah, and they're they're so fucking far too.
Yeah,
you're just like, they're hitting me from the opposite side of this fucking room.
Yeah, I appreciate the beam on it too, rather than just the fuel rod. I think that adds a little bit of variety. Because I always questioned, well, they have the same guns as those grunts, and I couldn't pick it up in Halo 1 either, but, like, I feel like I should be able to. This one feels like, oh, no, those are theirs. I can't pick those up.
Yeah. No, this is fucking attached to their body.
Yeah. Which is, like, fucking kind of cool. And stays with it throughout the entire series at that point, too. Although in Infinite, they do shoot some bolts, but that's...
It's very... Yeah.
I don't know, man. Between the level design, the shitty Master Chief story, which is what I am playing Halo for. Like, the Arbiter was a cool surprise, but the Master Chief is who I was there to, see the next part of until, like, the very end. I don't know. The Flood are more of a pain in the ass this time around, too.
It depends. I think they're a little bit more easy to take care of.
They had a head hitbox that is one fact.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
Right. Well, I never did, but I didn't get stuck in, like, tight, like, areas, like claustrophobic areas like I did Halo. So they felt a little easier compared to Halo 1, at least for me.
Yeah.
And so they were just, of course, annoying because there was so much more open space, though, too, for, like, them to jump up and, come at you with a rocket launcher.
Well, that was my main contention with it, is that, like, they have a head hitbox now. That's cool. But they also had a bunch of swords and rocket launchers.
And they're just jumping 50 feet.
And they're just jumping at you. And I'm like, all right, this is fucking dumb. To the point where, once again, like I did most of the Arbiter levels, I kind of just ran past them all. If I could do it,
Yeah.
I would just run past them all.
Well, they would follow you too, but they were a lot slower, so you didn't have to worry about it. So
Yeah, and that was most of them, right? Because generally, if the flood's there, somebody else is fighting something else, so you can just
yeah.
go
Now that
by.
now thinking about it, I'm not looking for the Halo 3 flood parts.
I don't
You know,
mind.
well,
We'll get to it, but
yeah,
I don't mind the flood as an enemy because
no,
they hold a place in the Halo sandbox, right?
oh, of
Where
course.
they just bum rush the fuck out of you, right? And which is
Mhm.
cool, right? And I will say that the AI in Halo 2 is really a step up. I also appreciate the
Oh,
color
yeah.
coded grunts, not just red and yellow, but you had like green
Yeah.
and purple. So like the vehicle guys and the turret guys.
Mhm.
That's fucking kind of cool.
And of course, like the elites still have the same colors. I mean, they show more gold ones though in Halo 2
Mm-hmm. Gold
compared
and
to
silver.
compared to just the one gold that really shows up throughout Halo 1, which is the Arbiter. So
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
I do appreciate the sandbox a little more. I think the shotgun is not as good as everybody remembers, at least in the campaign wise.
Yeah, campaign wise, it wasn't that great, but
kinda booty.
multiplayer wise, it's god tier.
Yeah, for sure. No, 1,000%. But like, it wasn't the go-to option for fighting the
Oh
flood.
no.
How'd you feel
No.
about BRs instead of assault rifles, or submachine guns instead of assault rifles?
I mean, I love the BR.
Mhm.
I of course, surprisingly, they never got rid of the BXR. I can still do it on keyboard and mouse, so
Yeah.
I did that a lot.
Yeah.
So when it came to fighting elites, I melee cancel the animation and just shot them.
Exactly.
So
No, totally.
it was fine.
I saw that too. I actually like the BR. I think it holds a good place. In the Halo sandbox, especially coming from one where there wasn't really anything for that mid range.
No, there was
Other
none.
than the pistol, which the pistol sucks in two. But like,
yeah, it the pistol's not terrible, but it literally takes 2 full clips to really do anything.
Yeah,
with it.
exactly.
So otherwise, I mean, if it was stronger, if it took 1 full clip to kill him, I probably would have used it more.
Mm-hmm.
But also the hitbox or like the hit registration for it was just kind of shitty too.
Yeah, I just never even bothered with it.
No.
With it, honestly.
I think I only picked it up during this playthrough just to see how it, held up.
And I'm not gonna lie, I really miss the assault rifle, and I don't like the submachine guns at all.
SMGs suck.
They're
I never even used it in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Unless someone was being a dickhead and using the noob combo with it, I would, do the same thing back.
But like, having that in place of the assault rifle really felt kind of weak. Honestly, like the assault rifle is such an iconic thing in Halo 1, right? It's the gun that Chief carried around with him constantly. So it just felt bizarre to get rid of it in Halo 2. In place for the submachine guns. It didn't feel like the submachine guns really fit anything.
No.
Did anything different in the sandbox that the assault rifle didn't already do. And I think that the battle rifle is supposed to be the replacement for the assault rifle. But they don't work together
shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
No. Like honestly, I would still take the battle rifle over assault rifle, just like you heard me say earlier. But no, I mean, they should have kept the assault rifle in and given us a choice. Like, hey, look, we have a 3-shot, battle rifle, or you can use the assault rifle, or just keep both so you can spray and pray and
get rid of the submachine gun. Honestly, that's what I would do: is get rid of the submachine gun and just have the assault rifle in. It fits. They do the same role, just the assault rifles low to mid, and the submachine guns are like no range.
Yeah, they're literally like 2 feet in front of you.
Yeah, once you get past that fucking 5-foot radius, they just like tickle the guys. They don't do anything, right? Dual wielding them's cool.
It looks cool,
but I never dual wielded even either, really.
No, in my playthrough, I didn't. I think no, I did dual wield.
I did
At
only
least
in
on the
Cairo.
No, I dual wielded when I would run out of ammo on arbiter missions. I would dual wield needlers.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Needlers, I mean, needlers were the way to go if I didn't have carbine ammo.
Yeah. If I didn't have carbine ammo, I just was a sad bear, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was like, oh, look, there's a needler. I'll pick it up. And which, like, almost every enemy that you fought against as arbiter had a needler.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Then, and obviously the sword plays a bigger part. You couldn't pick it up in Halo 1 at all. So being able to actually wield the sword was pretty fucking cool.
Which, so I remember after playing through Outskirts and everything and talking to you and Mistake, how floaty
my
the sword lunges were.
You fly.
So the funny thing
is,
you
don't fucking stop.
No, I was watching a video after we had talked about that. There was this guy who literally sword canceled with the rocket launcher throughout the entire Metropolis level.
Man,
where he had a sword from Outskirts, and then he picked up the rocket launcher off of one of the Marines. And he just fucking flies over the bridge, flies through the fucking tunnel, and then like up and over into the Scarab. You're just like, what the fuck? I was reading the fucking quick switch.
Oh,
the rocket cancel.
It's amazing how fucking like ridden with dumb shit that game still is to this day,
dude. I think my favorite part, though, in at least Halo 2 multiplayer, was super jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Super jumping was so fucking fun. Especially, like, not a lot of people could get it right unless you practiced it, like, nonstop, which I did. Because I watched a video which had, what song was it? It was Light That Blinds by All That Remains. It was a super jumping tutorial, and it had that song in the background. And that was the one video, right? But I watched that video so many fucking times that I actually ended up finding it like right after Halo 2 Anniversary came out, like originally, and just trying to see if the super jumping would work, and it did.
Yeah.
At least, but it wasn't the same.
That's the one thing I will say about the Anniversary is that it's really true to form.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that's like even dumb shit that was fixed in it, right? Like still getting the Scarab gun and shit like that. Like just like they embraced it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could have taken super jumping out of Halo 2 originally, right? But it literally gave the multiplayer so much more character than it already had.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Halo 2's multiplayer really brought online gaming to the next level at that point.
Especially for the console space. PC bros were doing it for a long time, but really, I mean, Halo 2 brought Xbox Live to a whole new level, right?
Right.
I put so much time into that.
I mean, at the time, we only really had, like, I think 2 games really on Xbox that had online multiplayer, which was Counter-Strike Source on Xbox, and then I think Battlefield 2.
Man, you're already forgetting Ghost Recon. You're forgetting Mech Assault, which...
Well, I never really played Mech Assault.
Yeah, I put so much time into it. Honestly, dude, Xbox Live, when that came out, I was there day one, grabbing my headset with my card and re-upping my time because it was like the coolest fucking thing in the world to me, was to be able to play games with other people. So I put probably hundreds of hours into Ghost Recon, which nowadays probably wouldn't be considered a very good game, but like back in the day, that was super fucking cool.
Which Ghost Recon?
The first one.
Okay.
Literally, Ghost Recon.
Okay.
It was the PC port that you brought over to Xbox for Xbox Live, and it was fucking killer, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they did with Counter-Strike. Which, given Counter-Strike on console is just not Same.
No, it really isn't. And obviously Halo 2 brought it to the next level. After that came out, that's all I played.
Yeah, I think that's the only Halo or Xbox original Xbox multiplayer that I ever really played. But then again, I didn't actually start playing Halo 2 online until Xbox 360 came out.
That's fair, honestly. Like that's when probably
But
a lot of people did too, because Xbox Live back then it was popular, but it was still nascent for most people because it was a weird new thing.
No, it was more the fact that like I started playing Halo 2 online multiplayer the year that Halo 3 came out.
Oh shit.
like the summer before, because my family, it wasn't until we moved in 2007, like right before my freshman year of high school, that we ended up getting like broadband internet.
Oh really? Man, I was a creature of the internet.
Yeah, no, we literally, from whenever I got my Xbox, 2004, when I got my original Xbox, till 2007, we had AOL, or I just never used the internet.
Damn.
You know, I was like outside or watching movies or playing video games on my Xbox or PlayStation 2.
Bitch, I lived in Florida and then I lived in the Middle East for a year. I did not go outside. I don't do well in heat at all. I've always been a big boy.
I just turned black.
I just it wasn't until like Germany, but even then I didn't have friends, so I still didn't go outside, so I just like played video games all the time. I fucking adored it. I put so much time into PSO original. When that came out on Xbox, I played so fucking much PSO. I even bought Final Fantasy 11, but it was too convoluted and I didn't play it because that came out on Xbox.
Yeah, well, everyone always played it on PlayStation 2, from what I remember.
Well, that was the other problem too, is that nobody played on Xbox. So
yeah,
you know, I was kind of like fucked on that front.
No, I remember when Final Fantasy 11 came out, because I would go to my friend's house and he was playing it like the day it came out, and I'm like, dang, this actually looks pretty cool. And I'm like, this is completely online? He's like, yeah. I'm like, how do I play it? He's like, it was only on console, I think.
No, it was on PC too.
No, it was on PC, but I didn't have a good enough PC to play it anyway. So I had a good enough PC to play like Warcraft. I played the fuck out of Warcraft and Diablo.
Same.
But that's totally different.
No, yeah, for sure.
But when it came to multiplayer FPSs, Halo 2 was definitely the top tier at the time.
Well, when you talk about online console gaming, period, that's all anybody talks about. I mean, that was the biggest entertainment event in history at the time. Yeah, everybody bought Halo 2. It was a fucking cultural phenomenon.
Right, and there were some games that tried to release during that time that tried to overtake it, but nothing really ever came close.
That was something different.
Yeah, and I think the only one that I ever really played, like I said, was probably Battlefield 2, but I played that on my PC back then, or at least like my brother-in-law's PC. So
I had such high hopes and love for Halo 2 before. Honestly, it's a good thing that we played it for this. I partially regret it because I feel like a little bit of my nostalgia was kind of killed in playing it again.
Really?
I really don't think that this game holds up as much as everybody thinks it does. So, if you take off that nostalgia factor for like a quarter of a second,
I think it holds up to
boring long levels for me. Between the boring long levels, the mediocre writing that goes into it, one thing we didn't talk about, there's a lot of gank in this too, like ganky bullshit. So like the sniper jackals being able to like one tap you. You have elites like hiding behind. The melee is so fast with the sword, which every elite fucking carries over like red. That like if you get close to finish the melee, they just go and you're dead. And you're like, what the fuck?
That actually didn't happen to me.
It happened to me constantly in High Charity. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is actually kind of bullshit.
I also
The
think
two
it's
hits from the brutes fucking smacking you. Like the game is just
God.
super gank. Like it ganks you. Like it reminds me of Dark Souls 2 level of that kind of bullshit.
Oh, I think it's also because like I've played Halo 2 on Legendary so much
Yeah.
that I'm used to it. Also, to the point where because we were both playing this on Heroic,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I knew exactly what I needed to do anyway,
Mm-hmm.
like where to fire and like where these elites are and whatnot. Like, I did end up, like I said, when I first played Outskirts, I actually did go back and play it again. After you kill those two hunters, right, and you go in, and then all of those fucking jackal snipers are there.
Yeah.
I remember it exactly where they are, so they wouldn't, one tap me. Same when we're on Metropolis and we go through the tunnel, and then there's just an area full of snipers, and there's the one that's right there in front of you.
Yep.
Even I remember the title screen would pop up, right? And you just see the black bar and your UI disappears. I still remember exactly where to aim my battle rifle to kill that in one shot.
Yeah. And
so,
but my thought is that you know all that, but what if you don't?
Oh,
it just instantly becomes no fun. And there were points. There were points, and I'm not even gonna lie. There were points even on Heroic, and I don't think I'm like terrible at games, but there are points where I'm like, I really don't want to fucking play this anymore.
Right.
Like because this is just screamy dumb bullshit.
I think the one part that actually made me want to like take a break was the hunter part, the underwater hunter part.
Yeah.
Is probably the one spot that really made me want to just, put down my...
Yeah, that area sucks too, because you just get inundated with snipers, you get drones thrown at you. You have elites on both sides, I think 2 sword ones, and then the 2 hunters come through, and you're like, okay, like, this isn't that hard.
But it's just annoying.
Just this culmination of things that are occurring between the buggers with no hitboxes, or no head hitboxes, the hunters who don't leave the room, the sword elites that will just fucking go blah, blah. And then the snipers. I'm just like, this is dumb. Like legit, this is dumb.
Right.
And there were numerous points in this game. Like I can't even tell you past Delta Halo what the fuck happened in the game. I'll be honest with you. Like,
yeah, because you just wanted to finish it.
You chase even narrative wise, and I paid attention because those cutscenes are really good.
Yeah,
and paying attention, like, and even all the external dialogue that's going on, like, really nothing's occurring. We haven't even talked about the brutes taking over the place of the elites yet.
Oh, right,
which is super fucking cool. Like that's I will say I love Halo 2 for the amount of detail it sheds on the Covenant itself. But that's about it. Like the Brute Civil War, and we'll talk about it real quick, is like a super cool fucking thing.
Yeah, which I remember the one part that I love about that whole the Brutes taking over from the elites is in the cutscene where the Brute's walking up and just yanks the staff away from the honor guard.
Yeah,
you're just like, damn, shit's about to happen. Like, what the hell? The great schism is upon us right there.
No, it's fucking cool. And Tartarus is cool. Like, the introduction of the Brutes is super cool because I'm sorry, dude. Tartarus is fucking a cool design.
So, no, I agree with the design, but his character, just in general, I wasn't a fan of.
It's one note. I mean, it's what it is. Ugh.
Until
we have power.
Yeah. Until you actually, like, read the books about him, then he has more character to him, and you totally understand a little bit more about him, but... without that knowledge, he's just kind of, like you said, he's a one-note character.
Yeah.
But his mohawk was pretty...
his mohawk, the gravity hammer, which you don't get to use, is fucking cool.
Which is so sad. And you can't even use a gravity hammer till Halo 3.
Yeah, and because you see this thing, which is what made that so cool in Halo 3, when you actually grab it, you're like, oh, this is what he fucking used. This is cool as shit. Like, there's a lot of cool factor around him, right? And that's really what he's designed to be, is like that fucking cool guy. I think I'm going to kill him at some point. That's dope. I kind of wish that you didn't kill him in Halo 2. I kind of wish that he had kind of hung around until 3 just to kind of keep this prolonged bad guy throughout, much like
right,
like a Darth Vader type character, right? Not really like Darth Vader because that's like the whole Covenant, but like this other main figure that you're like fighting throughout the Halo series, essentially. 2 and 3.
Like he should have had more implications.
Like he's just kind of there, and then he is kind of not.
Yeah,
and then you kill, and then Johnson shoots him with a beam rifle, and then you hit him with a sword 3 times, and he's dead. Like,
right. You're just like, and I remember the first time playing against him. I'm like, he has this weird shield around him. What the fuck am I doing?
Which I really don't like that fight either, because there's so much agency that's taken out of your hands in that. Like when you think of a boss fight, right? You think of like, all right, man, 1v1, man versus beast, right? But you can't because Johnson has to shoot him 3 times before you can do damage to him. It's like,
right.
So I spend this entire fight avoiding
Dodging,
this guy.
Yeah, bobbing and weaving, and then his shield's
wait for
gone,
the guy,
and then
position him, because you have to also position him outside of a wall, or else Johnson will just shoot the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, this kind of sucks.
I mean, that fight, I've never liked that fight anyway.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire time that I've ever played Halo, I've never enjoyed that fight just because it was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
In that sense. But I don't know. That whole last like 2 chapters, I did enjoy playing it though. Again,
they're fine. Like,
yeah,
I think High Charity is kind of sleeper, because once again, you go through so many. I think High Charity as a concept is cool as the Master Chief, but
you're
like,
going through so many hallways.
But you do so much of it, and it all starts looking the same, and it's like 4 rooms stitched together, and I'm like, the freeing of the Marines is super cool that are like captured. That you like, hey, there's human transponders in here. Let's go save them.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy though that I did play this on the anniversary graphics though, because like you said, like looking at the same monotonous like color scheme of like that dull gray or that dull purple, just kind of sucked.
Yeah. it just does become sleeper in Super 1. And like I said, the anniversary is honestly at this point, if anybody asked me if they should play on old graphics or new, I would say, as much as nostalgia wishes that like the old would hold up, I would just say play anniversary. It looks 1,000 times better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say Halo 1 play it on OG graphics, Halo 2 play it on anniversary, Halo 3 you can only play it on 1.
Yeah, and then after that you just play the game. But yeah, between like the nothing really happening with the Master Chief, which is, you know, the main protagonist of Halo.
Yeah, he's the main person on the cover.
Until, like you said, you leaving Cortana behind, which is really like
the last like bit.
Yeah, and then like Chief like finishing this fight, which he totally breaks all military protocol. He shouldn't have left her there. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like he totally not listened to what Captain Keyes told him about not letting Cortana get in the enemy hands. He leaves her with them.
Right. Like, where's Cortana, Chief?
Yeah, right? Like, nobody's gonna ask the question. And then, like, we have to talk about the Gravemind, too.
So I liked the introduction of, like, a flood hive mind, but they could have done it a little differently.
How about you have, like, a semblance of lead up?
Yeah. Not just like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I got this big fucking thing, and it doesn't even say what he's called until like the very end. And you're
huh? Oh yeah.
The Gravemind?
Oh.
It's Gravemind.
Weird.
And then like it's just like it to me it just feels like the way to get the Chief and the Arbiter working together. But then you still go and you kill Flood. So
yeah. Like, wait, aren't they not supposed to be attacking me?
Yeah,
which
like, didn't you just say that we're supposed to be working together?
Yeah, at one point they aren't attacking you, and then all of a sudden they are.
Yeah, in 3.
Oh, was it 3?
That's 3. That's when you go to kill the Prophet of Truth.
Oh.
And they go and help you, and it's like super cool.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
And then they instantly turn on you again. But
yeah, I remember That's also the level where you get the I would have been your daddy skull.
You have to jump through the different halos.
The one that I was reading an article not too long ago where no one figured out what the Easter egg was because there's a certain way, because the rings that you had to jump through, it plays the Halo theme.
Oh, really?
When you jump through the rings, the person who made that Easter egg made it for people who are musically inclined.
Okay, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, but no one figured it out until he did an article about it. Yeah.
No, that's super cool, actually. I didn't realize that. But yeah, like, you're still killing Flood, so you're not working with the Gravemind. So it just, I don't know. It's this weird middle section, this middle cutscene that, like, is just there to bring the two to work together, essentially.
Right.
But then they don't even, like, work together. They go to, like, separate areas.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sending you here, you're going this way. Yeah. Like, okay.
It's like, okay, like, so what?
But then, like, you're confused as to, like, why Johnson is, like, working with Arbiter, too.
Yeah.
You're just like, wait.
You go up to the Scarab, and then Johnson's already there in the Scarab, and you're like, huh?
Like, how does he already know?
Like, it's just, like things just kind of happen, and you're just like...
Right.
I don't know, man. Like, you free the Marines. You see the two Marines when you go out and you kill the brutes, but neither of them are Johnson. They're both just generic ass Marines.
And they're not like wondering like, why the fuck did this elite just save me?
That's one thing that I do wish happened, is I do wish that, this sounds morbid as fuck, but I do wish that in some of the Arbiter levels you killed humans.
I agree,
because it becomes weird that, like,
because you're only fighting
Covenant.
Yeah.
In Flood, you never fight humans, which has been the people you've been fighting against for how many years now?
And then all of a sudden they just have this alliance like that.
Which I understand how that kind of comes to fruition, right? Because, like, Johnson kind of says that I don't like you and you don't like me, but if we're gonna go stop that thing from starting up the ring, we got to work together, right?
Right.
I get it.
Which they end up becoming best friends anyway.
Yeah, and they end up becoming broskies, and that's cool. That's actually kind of a cool moment. But it does come out of, like, left field. It's like, Halo ends up starting to suffer from that small universe syndrome that I always say Star Wars does, where everybody has to, like, somehow be involved. And there's not much delineation. Like, really, did it have to be Captain Keyes' daughter? Like,
Slash Halsey's daughter.
Like, seriously, did it have to be?
Yeah.
No, not really. It could have been anybody. Could have been General Hood. Could have been fucking a random guy. It doesn't have to be fucking Miranda Keyes. But Halo tends to also suffer from small universe syndrome, where everybody from all the last stuff is now in the new stuff. Yeah. Too. So, like, I just kind of roll my eyes at it. I guess people like it because people keep doing it. So I'm not gonna argue it. But
I guess. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, where it wouldn't have had to have been Miranda, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't even a big part of the story in general anyway. So, like, even when we'll talk about this more in Halo 3, but when she dies, it didn't really have a big impact on me as compared to, say, like, Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson plays a way more pivotal role, especially picking up in 2. But Johnson's also a presence in and of himself, right? He's the shit talking robot wanting to fucking kind of badass with a sniper, right? Which, if you're like me, you steal it at the beginning of Outskirts.
Yeah, of course.
Because fuck that
guy. Ready up, Marines.
He doesn't need the good gun. I need the good gun. Fuck off.
He has unlimited ammo.
Which I do like the fact that you could trade your guns with Marines and Elites.
Oh, yeah, it makes it so much better.
Yeah, you can just be like, yo, give that to me. And then they react if you give them, like, a better weapon. They're like, oh, are you sure? Thanks, brother. If you give him, like, a plasma pistol, he's like, well, what the fuck?
Well, you needed that one more than I did.
I guess you needed that more than I do. It's kind of entertaining, honestly. Like, I like those little touches that Bungie put in these games too. Like, it's not all bad. I just think that it could have been way better written and way more fleshed out.
I agree.
And I understand that this game came in super fucking hot. And that how do you follow up with a game that was so pivotal to an entire console?
Right.
essentially. Like, how do you follow that up? Because they had no idea that it was going to be as popular as it was.
Right, because I mean, yeah, Halo 1 was popular as hell, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think they were really expecting Halo 2 to blow up like it did
Yeah.
and have such a huge fan base and just people who just kept playing it, especially online. But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
also so many people, like me included, who played the campaign just so much and looking for like different ways to do different levels or finding Easter eggs,
Oh,
finding
yeah,
the
totally.
skulls, or like I said earlier, having that action replay where
Mhm.
people who had modded it, you know, play the campaign levels a different way, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Man,
that's just
I appreciate everybody who likes Halo 2. I don't. It's really sad to say, but like, yeah, my rose colored glasses were ripped the fuck off.
I would
And
say mine are like cracked as in like Harry Potter cracked, you know, when like ever his fucking glasses fall off his head.
don't worry,
And they
Hermione will fix them for you.
yeah. And they just have the crack in the glass. That's how mine are. Maybe like a few like missing pieces of glass, but not fully broken.
That's fair, and I understand everybody's nostalgia with it. If I hitting
Sure.
up the multiplayer, I'd be right back into it, saying, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever."
Yeah.
But that's not what this show is. It's
Which
more for the narrative side of it,
yeah.
which I do think kind of falls apart real fast.
Yeah.
Personally,
I do have to say though, Halo. I did play a little bit of Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer.
mm-hmm.
Still holds up.
Oh yeah, no, it does.
It still holds up.
I dipped in a little bit too. And yeah, it's still good. Like the map selection is really good. The sandbox is amazing. The skill gap that is in there is some people love it, some people hate it. I'm on the love it side because I was able to do it back in the day, and probably not so much now. But yeah, the multiplayer, just for a quick aside, is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Fucking awesome.
I still enjoy playing, even if it's the old graphics. I was just like, this is still.
It still is good.
Yeah.
Still good.
Even after I think, it's been I think 10 years since the original like servers for Halo 2 went off.
No, less than that.
Is it less than that?
Mm-hmm.
I could have.
No, way less than that, because I remember when they announced they were shutting down, people were hanging out in there.
Oh yeah, well, way past like when the servers had been shut down, but they were able to stay on long enough that one of the servers stayed on somewhat. I'm pretty sure, but
maybe you're right. Maybe it is 2010. God, has it really been that long?
it's been 11 years. Fuck, I was wrong.
I thought it felt like fucking 3 days ago.
Right? I mean, dude, I graduated high school 2011.
Oh wow, Halo servers for 360 games are shutting down now too.
Yeah.
So no more Reach, no
soon.
more 3.
Yeah.
On January 13th, 2022. Damn.
Yep. Well, that's a lot longer than like Halo 2's life, you know?
Yeah.
Halo 2 was 2004 and ended what you said 2011 or 10?
Yeah.
So Halo 3 came out 2007. Halo Reach came out 2009. No. 10?
Yeah.
So I mean
something like that.
Like what? 15, 16 years?
Yeah. Jesus
for
Christ.
Halo 3.
I can't believe it's been that long. Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I mean, shit. I know, dude. I'm turning 29 on Tuesday.
Whatever.
Next Tuesday, not tomorrow.
Whatever. Fuck off.
So, dude, I still feel old. My body is destroyed.
You do that to yourself. I don't feel pity for you. Final thoughts on Halo 2. What do you think? I mean, is it an easy recommend? Is it as good as you remember it? Is it? For me, it's definitely not easily.
I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow, he's putting a number.
Yeah.
He's putting a fucking number. I don't believe in numbers.
So I recommend it, but it's to the point where you have to, enjoy it for what it is.
It's fair. That's fair. I still think you should play it, especially if you're gonna play the series.
Oh, yeah.
But like if you're just replaying Halo games and you kind of remember like
If
you remember this, you left Cortana.
Yeah.
And they sent a signal from the other Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and some elites don't like the Covenant now. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say if you're replaying it, replay it for what it is too. Just go through it and see how you feel about it.
Play it, and I would say because the easiest way to play it now is Master Chief Collection. Because it's on Game Pass and everywhere. Play it on the Anniversary 2 just for the blur cinematics alone are just phenomenal in and of itself. Like I do think that those are worth going back and looking at because they're fucking really good. And I know they're not Halo 2 old, but like the way that they really brought Halo 2 to a modern graphical fidelity is like actually really fucking good.
Yep, I agree.
And I really kind of want a 3 that does that. That'd be awesome, but I don't think I'll get so lucky. Yeah,
we won't. And I mean, it's already past it's past the 10-year mark already. So they would have done it 3-4 years ago.
Yep, that's true.
So it's too late.
Man. Sad. Halo 2 in the bag, boys.
Yeah.
Boy, singular.
That's 2 out of the 7, 8?
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, in the comments, let us know what you think about Halo 2. Like it, love it, hate it, leave it. Oh, I'm always curious because I do think that this is a more divisive game than I at least realized.
I still love it.
I think there are people that actually are on my side of the fence on this one. So hopefully I'm not alone. So let me know in the comments. We're gonna be doing Halo 3 next week, Thursday. When the new episode drops is when Halo 3's coming to it. So
we'll need to figure out when we're gonna record because it's Christmas this weekend.
That's true. We're recording this the Monday before Christmas. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But we'll still get it done so we can post it for Thursday. So I mean, Flip, do you have any closing thoughts, buddy? Where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Flip Frenzy. YouTube. I'm gonna be starting a new channel actually.
Ooh.
So maybe in the next episode I should. We'll loosely say that I should have a new video up on that one. But we'll see. I need to figure out how I want to do everything, but it's not going to be gaming related. My gaming related stuff, which I haven't posted on in a year. I posted like a Star Wars playthrough. No, I posted a Star Wars playthrough on my other channel. And I only put up part 1. I haven't put up any of the other parts for Battlefront 2.
It just ends right
I know. It ends right at Battlefront 2 part 1. So maybe I'll just say fucking upload, or I'm just not going to because I still have all those videos like ready to go.
Jesus, you actually did the work.
Yeah. I beat the entire game. Well, I had streamed it on Twitch, which you can't find me on Twitch anymore because I don't really stream. So
you can't find me anywhere right now.
Oh yeah, you got. Well, you could technically find him on Twitter, but he hasn't updated his Twitter in like months.
I deleted my Twitter app. I'm off. I've been off Twitter for 3 months.
I was gonna say
I haven't put a YouTube video up in 3 months. And I haven't streamed in about a month.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't done anything.
Didn't you stream like 2 weeks ago?
I don't think so. Maybe when Halo came out, but that's been a month now.
Oh fuck!
Yep.
It's almost 2022.
I know.
In like a week.
I am planning on doing something, but I'm still trying to figure out what exactly. So, and not that it's like hard. I do want to make content, and I'm gonna just start doing it. But, yeah, if I decide to let people know where to find me at, I'll let you guys know.
And we're also in the idea stage of making our logo as well. So I wanted to bring that up. We have something in mind that I brought up earlier to both Mistake and Ned. So hopefully by not this video, because it'll take time, hopefully by next video or the one after, we should have that solidified. Yeah. And we'll probably be putting that in our videos as well as but we'll figure it out.
That'll be some sick
At
shit. I'm
least.
excited.
I know. I mean, it was a pretty good idea on my part. I literally thought about it when we were playing Halo Infinite.
God, I can't get enough of that game.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play some more right after this.
I gotta figure out if I need to go to bed or not.
Yeah, it's 11:23.
Yeah,
So
we'll see. I don't know. But on that note, if you did enjoy this episode, give it a like. Hit that subscribe button so you know when we post more stuff. We're gonna find some supplementary content to put in between too, so that way it's not just one episode a week. Flip, thank you again. And until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Deuces.